ranging from a fixed magnification battle sight to reflex sights with the latest power management features. Purpose-built and versatile. Find yours at crimsontrace.com.
It's Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, and now, here's Tom.
All right, welcome back to Gun Talk. Tom Gresham here. If you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. Also, don't forget to check out guntalk.com. Also, shopguntalk.com. We have a lot of things going on there. You can follow me over on Twitter. I am at Gun Talk. Actually, there's more going on than I could even talk about on the radio, and so I put a lot of that information on Twitter. If you are a person who wants to be as informed as possible on the gun rights movement and what's going on day to day, not just week to week, but day to day, which, oh my gosh, over the last few weeks it's been important, especially with what's going on out in Virginia, you need to follow me on Twitter. Again, I am at Gun Talk on Twitter, and talk about things going on. It's a busy time. And of course, in the way of new guns being introduced, we've talked about that, but also on the political front and what's going on. The action is really in the States these days. And joining me to talk about that from the Buckeye Firearms Association in Ohio, Jim Irvine joins us right now. Hey, Jim, how are you?
Hey, Tom, it's great to hear you. And you know what? It's Christmas time. It's a great time for people to be thinking about gifts and being more involved in and everything that's going on in Second Amendment and firearms-related stuff.
It's a time like, and I've been watching this for a long time, as have you, and this is different. It feels different. I'm specifically thinking about what's been happening over in Virginia. I know you guys have been following that. I call it our version of the Arab Spring uprising, where the Virginians basically sat on their rears and let themselves get run over in the election, and now they're waking up and saying, oh my gosh, this is real, and now they're showing up. But it's an uphill battle if you wait that long, isn't it?
It is, and it's something else. I absolutely agree with you. Been at this a long time. It is different now. We are fighting a different battle than we've ever fought. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be a very interesting and I think difficult year next year, but I am optimistic that we can get many other gun owners that, as you say, have been sitting around for too long and get them to engage in this fight, and we can win it. Because if we don't, Virginia shows it's going to get a lot worse. And we're going to have to win a much more difficult battle if we don't get involved and win it at the battle box first.
Trying to keep a legislature that wants to pass gun control law, and along with the governor that wants to sign gun control laws, is a lot more difficult than working with them before they get to that point. And in fact, and after they pass them, it's really hard to get a law repealed or overturned or something like that. You can either go the legislative route or you can go the court system. And of course, at Buckeye Firearms, you guys are familiar with both.
Yeah, we are. I like the legislative work better because it's a lot cheaper. The courts are very expensive way to do it. But also, you get the chance in the legislator, instead of hoping a judge rules your way and agrees with your points, in the legislature, if someone doesn't agree with you, you can ask them why, and you can address that issue. And you can also, maybe somebody's opposed to you, and they're like, yeah, well, here's what's wrong with your bill. And I've had, I don't remember what it was, it's something we were working on 10 plus years ago, and it was one of the anti-gun groups found a problem with it. They're like, if this passes, here's this. Well, because they look at it through a completely different prism than we do. And they saw something they found really a mistake in our bill. It wasn't something we wanted to do, unintended consequences. Oh. And I thanked them. I'm like, hey, thanks for pointing that out. We appreciate that because we want the law to work right. We want a good society. That's the whole point of all this. And, I think they were even miffed that we acknowledge them for fixing a problem and making the law better, because that's not what they want. They want to ban the guns. They want to take the stuff away, and it's a stage step at a time, but that's where their goal is.
You just said something interesting, because I've been saying it, and you're saying it, and I know there are people out there who truly do not believe it. And, of course, the media wants to keep saying nobody wants to take your guns away. And then, of course, the Democrats, this is really, and unfortunately it's become a Democrat versus Republican deal. I wish it wasn't. But, and of course, this year we had two major presidential candidates who are saying absolutely, we are going to take your guns away. Do not make any mistake about this. Of course, they're gone now, but the others, nobody pushed back during debates when they said things like that, but they've all gotten smart enough. As they get a little bit closer to the election now, they shut up. They say, well, don't talk about the plan to take people's guns away. You just said they absolutely want to take your guns away. You've got experience in working with these groups.
And what's frustrating is I think most of the Moms Demand Attention crowd or Moms Demand Action, most of the people that are involved in at the State House and doing this stuff, I think they're good people, and they don't like murders and kids killing kids and accidents and all this same stuff. They hate the school killings. They hate all of the things we hate. We've got so much in common, but they've been lied to and misled by Mike Bloomberg and his ilk and Chuck Schumer in this nonsense. Mm-hmm. And so they're going along with a lie, even though they're good people. But yeah, at the end of the day, the higher ups in these organizations want to take the gun. They look at it. Look at what just happened in New Zealand. I mean, they would dream of taking 50,000 guns out of not the country, but out of your state, and in some places out of your town. Mm-hmm. They would like to do that, and that's absolutely their end game. If you study it and look at it, there's no other way. I mean, heck, we had after in the shadow of Sandy Hook, mm-hmm. we had a law in Ohio where we had a shall issue license, and the rules on it were kind of silly. So you'd have a sheriff that's compelled to give someone a license who's forbidden under federal law. They're a prohibited person. They can't even possess one.
Oh my gosh.
And so when we fixed that, we changed the background check, and it became NICS compliant. Said, hey, you guys keep talking about background check, background check, background check. Mm-hmm. Here's a bill where we have done we agree with you. The background check should filter out people who are prohibited persons before mm-hmm. they get a license. So here's something we agree on. I know you oppose this whole bill, and I get that, and I understand it, but can you at least endorse this one section of the bill? And they thought about it for a second, and then all of a sudden she turns and she goes, no, we're never agreeing with anything you do, never. And I'm like, we're doing what you're out there asking for. Right. Here we've done it. But they won't do that because that's not good enough. They always have to play us as the bad guy. It's not acceptable for them to work with us.
What is it? Because as you say, and I've talked to some of them, and look, we all want to reduce murders, and we were doing that, and we want to reduce accidental shootings, and we've done that, and we all want to keep guns out of the hands of bad guys, and it's kind of like, we should actually be in agreement on most things. What is it that they have been told about us that keeps them from working with us?
Some people cannot see the difference between an unjustified killing and a justified self-defense. Oh. They see it as this. They see it as the same thing, which is bizarre to me. Someone murdering a lady is very different than a mother killing someone to defend her child. Right. I mean, you couldn't be more opposite to me. But some of them, when I talk to them, they honestly can't see the difference. And some of them, all they've listened to is the lies in the media. Like we've had people, even media people, ask, look, in concealed carry, do you even know of anyone who's ever actually defended their life with a gun? I'm like, it happens every single day.
Many
times.
Yes. I know a lot of people personally who have, and then I know of an awful lot of people who have, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you and I probably each know at least 100 different people personally in this bucket, and through other friends we have, and because of what we do, we know of, insane amounts. And we started putting a list of them on our website, and it's because we can refer to it and show people, and it's funny because they're like, wow, we never knew. And sometimes it's an epiphany for a reporter to realize, there actually is truth behind what the gun lobby is saying. And it's neat when you can bring them along and show them and get a good story out of it, because most of the local reporters, they really want to write a good story. They don't know anything about the issue. They're on a ridiculously tight time frame. If you can help them and show them the truth, you can get a good story out of them. Take a reporter to the range and let them experience what we do and show them fun.
Hey, Jim,
hold on.
Different thing. hold that thought for a second. I want to come back and talk a little bit more about what people can do to get involved, because, I mean, I think that's where we are now, is we need a lot more bodies. We need more foot soldiers, if you will, people who will work on the political front. We're talking with Jim Irvine from the Buckeye Firearms Association. Check it out, buckeyefirearms.org. One of the really important state groups out there working on gun rights for all of us. We'll be talking to him as we come back. Also talk to you if you'd like to join us, 866-TALK-GUN.
When the U.S. military's elite units and law enforcement agencies across the globe demanded innovation and reliability, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. When world champion professional shooters demanded precision accuracy, they didn't settle. They chose Sig Sauer. So it's no surprise more and more civilian gun owners are refusing to settle for anything less. They're choosing Sig Sauer firearms, ammunition, electro-optics, suppressors, air guns, and training. Sig Sauer. Never settle.
It's the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Needs. I'm Alan Gottlieb, founder of the Second Amendment Foundation. When someone says we don't need that kind of gun, remind them the Founding Fathers determined what rights our Constitution should protect. There's a world of difference between rights and needs. It is not the function of government to tell us what we need or what we don't. Certainly no one needs an assault rifle or a Saturday Night Special, or for that matter, no one needs a Corvette with a high-capacity horsepower engine capable of speeds to 150 miles per hour. But in the hands of honest, responsible individuals, we have the right of choice. We have the right to read books others don't like. We have the right to listen to any radio program we choose. We have the right to dress the way we want to. We also have the right to own firearms of our choice. So the next time someone tells you you don't need something, tell them it's the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Needs. Join the Second Amendment Foundation today so that this message and our Bill of Rights might live. Call 425-454-7012. That's 425-454-7012.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
This is Jeff with Black Hills Ammunition. Shooters looking for ultimate performance in 300 blackout will be pleased with our new 110 grain tip TSX load. This round performs well through tough barriers such as car doors and windshields, making it a great choice for police patrol rifles. It also provides superior performance on whitetails and monster hogs. This round is a great all-around terminal performer. Black Hills Ammunition, the power of performance.
We're talking with Jim Irvine from the Buckeye Firearms Association, the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, named it their 2019 Organization of the Year out of Ohio. Jim, state groups, I've talked for several years telling people they need to be involved in their state groups because that's really where the action is taking place. If you would, what is it that state groups need from members and also just from gun owners in the state?
And I've told everybody, you got to belong to a national organization like Second Amendment Foundation and a state roots group. One or the other is not good enough. You got to belong to both. Right. For state groups, the biggest thing is membership helps. It establishes ability while we're in the state house lobbying for things and working on things. And the other thing is state groups are run by volunteers. It's people who are working to do stuff. So help volunteering at a gun show, help working. And the other thing, especially we're coming into an election year, there's primaries coming up in the next few months. Working on the endorsed candidates' primaries and getting involved and letting the politician know, hey, I'm involved with you because Virginia Citizens Defense League or, Georgia Carry or whatever state group you're in hey, they endorsed you, and that's why I'm on your campaign. That makes that endorsement much more powerful. And the other thing, people need to realize almost no one ever works on a campaign. So if you show up and you work for 3-4 hours twice, 2 different days heading into a primary, and then do that again for the general, you put yourself in that rare 1%. It literally is less than an 8-hour commitment twice a year to be in the rare 1% with your state legislators. That is the best return on investment for your time of anything I can think of. Get involved in the politics and help them win. And then also you become a trusted resource. So when your legislator goes, well, hey, what this red flag stuff, what is this about? Universal background checks, why is that a bad idea? They have someone who they know and trust that they can reach out to and ask a question, and you become so much more powerful because you're a trusted asset for your state legislators. And then you can help them understand it when they'll help explain it to other people who may not have somebody like you. So the ripple effect of it is enormous for getting involved. And that's part of what drives me and why I do what I do. I've seen it so many times, so many ways. Just by showing up, being involved, and getting involved a little bit, we can change the world. And if a few more of us did it, we won't have to be dealing with Virginia.
We can change the world, and I keep saying we have to show up, because if you don't show up, you're just not a factor. You're either there or you're going to be told what happened while you weren't there. One of the things I hear all the time, and you hear it all the time too, and it is the lamest of excuses, and it is this: well, those people on that side, they're getting their way paid, and they don't actually have jobs, blah, blah, blah. And we have jobs, and we have responsibilities. I'm thinking, you know what? That is so lame and, frankly, so selfish. And you have to find a way to get there. Use your vacation time. When you're having your legislative day up there, when the state gun group is saying you got to show up at the legislature, you got to take that day off work and drive over there. And yes, you're going to have to drive. And yes, you're going to have to spend some money. Because if you don't know, but they will, and here's the deal. Those who show up win, right?
Yep, that's it.
If you don't show up, you're going to lose. As simple as that. And I love that people keep saying, well, they don't have jobs and we have jobs. That's, first, it's not true that they don't have jobs. I'll guarantee you Jim Irvine has a job. Like, I know what it is. And you have like a real job that requires that you're there, but you still find a way to schedule yourself where you can be there.
It's all about priorities. It's funny. You know what? The NFL does not respect our country, I don't think, anymore. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are not allowed to honor fallen law enforcement officers, but we're going to herald players who kneel. That's a great message. That's what we want to stand behind. So, you know what? I found a ton of time. I quit watching NFL football games. That's a ton of time. It's several hours a week that have freed me up to work on important things. And it's a matter of priority. You know what? Most people with kids have a job. It doesn't mean you can't be a good parent. It just means you have to prioritize your time. And if you care about your kids and you care about their future, then you need to be involved in this fight. Because it's as Jake Grossman says, we're not just fighting for our life. We're fighting for our way of life and for that of our kids and grandkids. And if we don't want to hand them a horrible situation, then we better get involved now, and we can win it at the ballot box.
I was going to say that, because what you're doing is that if you won't show up now, you are selling your children's birthright. You're selling your grandchildren's constitutional rights, because you were I'm just going to say, you were too damn lazy and too self-centered to show up and do what you need to do. People say, well, yeah, I support the Second Amendment. I go, you know what? If you're not showing up, you don't. Don't tell me what's important to you and then don't show up, because the only way that anybody can figure out what's important to anybody is what do you spend your time and your money on, because that's all right. There is. Time and money. That's what it is.
Yep. And the other thing I would say is, so when I first started doing political stuff, I became chairman of a PAC, and I'm asking people to work on these candidate stuff. And I've never done it. And so I felt hypocritical. I don't like that. So any job I was asking anybody else to do, I went out and did. And I learned how to do all of these things. And shocking to me, and this really is, it's funny, people don't believe this, but I swear I did not want to go do any of this stuff. I did it because I didn't want to be a hypocrite. And what I went not wanting to do it, what I found is I really love working on campaigns because I get to meet other people who think like me and who have ideas like me, and we work together. And I've done phone banks. I thought, door-to-door will be the worst thing, because at least on the phone, if somebody doesn't like me, they hang up. They don't know me. There's no direct contact. I don't have to deal with it. So I thought I'd like that better. And door-to-door scared the daylights out of me. What I found, I love door-to-door, especially on a nice day. You get out, you get some exercise, you're walking with some friends. You don't even have to be 18. I'm going to have my kids out working campaigns with me this year, because we can walk and we can talk and we can enjoy and spend quality time together helping a candidate, even though they can't vote for him yet, because they're vested in our future, just like I am.
The other thing is, it will give you a purpose for your life to get up every day and say, I'm going to work today, even if it's just a 5-minute phone call. I'm going to do something for the Second Amendment. That's my purpose.
Yep.
Hey, Jim, look, I'm just almost out of time. Tell them real quickly how they can keep up with what's going on with Buckeye Firearms, if you would.
BuckeyeFirearms.org. You can check that out. And FasterSavesLives.org for school stuff. And I just got to say thank you to you. I used to do a radio show years ago, and I don't do it anymore because there's professionals doing an awesome job, and it lets me focus on other stuff. Thank you for what you do, and God bless and Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much, Jim Irvine from the Buckeye Firearms. Thank you. I really appreciate what you do. You guys do it as well as anybody and better than almost everybody. Yeah. Anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about getting involved, but also time now for your range reports. What are you buying? What are you shooting? Have you been out doing a little bit of hunting? I'd love to know about that. Also, I'll tell you about some guns that I just sold and what that experience was like.
We'll keep talking. You keep reloading. Here's Tom.
All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. We are open lines if you want to talk about a particular gun, a particular cartridge, something that you, like me, wish you hadn't gotten rid of. I did sell some guns this week. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. But first, Christopher is with us out on line 4 out of Eastern Washington. Christopher, welcome. You got a range report for us? Well, maybe not. All right. Tell you what, we will try him again a little bit later. Let me tell you what happened this week. I drove to San Antonio. It was a long way. It should have been 9 hours. It was 11 and a half hours with the traffic and all that, coming basically out of New Orleans. But I had a car full of guns. And I took them over to Johnny Dury's Guns, because a bunch of guns that, frankly, some of them I'd gotten from my dad. Some I've had a long time. Almost all of them I haven't fired in anywhere from 5 to 20 years. Just sitting there. So I sold them. What was interesting to me, talking to them, I got to see his new gun store. Holy cow, in San Antonio. It's fabulous. It's really, really good looking. Just a really good local gun store. And I love local gun stores. If you have a local gun store, please take your business there. That's how we keep having local gun stores. Places that have things like, gunsmiths. Because, trust me, your big box store is not going to have gunsmiths for you. Or clerks that know anything, whereas generally gun stores have people who've worked and been around the business for many, many years. So when I go in, I said, okay, guys, we're unloading. I said, I've checked all these guns, but I'd like for you to check them as well to make sure they're unloaded. And they said, oh, yeah, we always do that. And they said, you haven't seen the bucket up front, have you? I said, no. So I go up and look at the bucket up front. And they have a bucket of live ammo, of rounds. And these are all live rounds that have been taken out of unloaded guns the customers have walked in with. Oh, yeah, it's unloaded. And they have a guy right there at the door. I mean, literally, you don't go through the door without talking to this guy and checking with him. Let me see your gun. We're going to open it up. We're going to look at it. And he's finding ammo, live ammo, in guns that they swear are unloaded. Oh, yeah, they're also pointing muzzles at him. So that's a whole different deal. don't be offended. I'm not offended, if somebody says I'm going to open that gun. When I hand it to you, I will open the action. And then when you get it, you should also check and open the action and look as well. When you hand it back to me, even though I just saw you check it, I'm going to open it and take a look at it, okay? That's just how it's going to be. All right, we do, in fact, have Christopher back with us. Christopher, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you today, Tom?
I'm good. So you got a range report for us?
I do. I got 3 range reports. One's an old gun, one's a new gun, and one's a phone call.
Cool.
So I got to go out to the range the other day, and I have an old M1 carbine that was made in 1942 by IBM.
Yes. And people don't know that during World War II, a lot of major companies making other stuff made guns. Singer sewing machines made guns. Remington obviously made guns, but also IBM did. Some others did. So that's cool. How did you get that gun?
I picked it up at I picked it up at a gun show in Coeur d'Alene. 6 or 7 years ago, and it's been.
Uh-oh. Let's see if he comes back here, because cell phones are... There he is. Christopher, are you there? Cell phones are the bane of our existence. I tell you what, put him back on hold. Let's do this. We will come back and pick up Christopher in just a minute. This is perfect time. We'll take a quick break here. This is the joys of doing live radio and cell phones. Oh, my gosh. Do you remember way back we used to say, oh, yeah, use a landline. Nobody even has landlines anymore. So this is where we are. We're getting range reports. Also, if you have a range report you'd like to join us with, by all means, give us a shout, 866 Talk Gun. And Craig, we're going to come to you in Sacramento. Don't go far. You'll be coming up shortly. All right, 866 Talk Gun. I'm Tom Gresham. Be right back with Gun Talk.
Since 1994, Crimson Trace has defined and built the laser sighting category through design, innovation, and performance. With an obsession to create best-in-class electro-optics, Crimson Trace now offers a full line of lasers, lights, reflex sights, red dot sights, and rifle scopes for tactical and sport applications. Most Crimson Trace products include free batteries for life, and all scopes are backed by a lifetime warranty. Find yours at your local dealer or at crimsontrace.com.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Mental health and guns. At Walk the Talk America, we are working with both the mental health community and the gun industry. Created by a gun industry veteran, Walk the Talk America seeks to raise awareness and create change through suicide prevention and firearm safety without legislation. We strive to eliminate the prejudice that firearms and mental health face. For more information and to support Walk the Talk America, please visit walkthetalkamerica.org.
The Smith & Wesson M&P 380 Shield EZ pistol revolutionized personal protection with its easy-to-use design. Now, enter the M&P Shield EZ in 9mm. Built for personal and home protection, the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Shield EZ pistol features the same easy-to-rack, easy-to-load, and easy-to-shoot design of the M&P Shield EZ series. Available at a retailer near you. Find out more at smith-wesson.com.
All right, just a second here. I'm going to finish I'm doing something on Twitter here. I'm trying to multitask, and it doesn't seem to be working all that well. So, I'm trying to help a lady who is laboring on a lot of misinformation. She's talking about, the NRA stopped research, stopped the government from being able to fund research on gun research, gun crimes. This is something that the anti-gunners like to say. It's not true. It was never true. We're talking about the Dickey Amendment, which removed the ability of the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, to lobby with their quote-unquote research. And then this past week they said, oh, we've gotten the funding back in. No, you always had the funding. The only restriction was you can't lobby. You can't use your research for lobbying. You can't do research with the goal of banning guns. And the reason that they did that was because the head of research at CDC 25 years ago said the goal of our gun research is to ban guns, is to make them like cigarettes, banned. So Congress stepped in and said, well, actually, we're not going to give you money to lobby us and to fake up your research. But for some reason, the gun control people, well, I know why. It's not some reason. They like to tell people, well, of course, the NRA, the bad old NRA, they got the funding taken away. No, you can still do research. No one was ever told they couldn't do research. You just can't do research with the goal of banning guns so that you cook the books, as so many of the anti-gun researchers have done. All righty. Did we ever get Christopher back, guys? We got him. Okay, let's try going back to Christopher. All right, Christopher, let's try this again. You got your M1 carbine. I was asking, where did you get this gun?
I picked it up at the gun show in Spokane about 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
And it's been my favorite calculator ever since I picked it up. It counts down from 30 real nice.
It counts down from 30, right? That's cool. And they're just fun to shoot. There's no recoil in them. It's a great little platform.
It's great fun. You can use it for target shooting. Take it out to prairie dogs, and it's just a blast and a half. And I love that gun. And while I was out,
right?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you had more range supports for us. Go ahead.
Yes. And then while I was out there with it, one of my friends had just recently built a new AR in 247 Valkyrie. And we were out shooting steel plates, and that 247 Valkyrie was punching holes through those steel plates like a hot knife through butter.
Wait, so they're punching holes in the plates?
Yeah.
Whose plates were they?
Well, they were both of our plates, but
so you're ruining your steel plates.
Well, we didn't realize that round was going to be punching through those plates like that.
What distance were you shooting them?
We were at about between 25 and 30 yards was about where we were. So we weren't super far away. We didn't have that much of a range out where we were.
Okay, just a heads up for anybody to understand. Rifles on steel, 100 yards minimum, period. Rifles on steel, 100 yards minimum, or you will punch holes in steel and render them useless. Here's the other part. Now that you have holes in them, you cannot use that steel. You must discard it. Nope. It is dangerous to shoot on steel that has holes in it now, because that bullets can come right back at you.
Got to melt them down and do something else with them.
Yep, exactly right. They're and if your steel plates that you shoot are dimpled and dented, they also are now unsafe to use, people. And I mean, and I'm talking about real serious, dangerous stuff. People out there shooting handguns at 10, 15, 20 yards on steel that's all dimpled up. That stuff's dangerous. You do not want to be doing it. Once you've got pop marks in it or holes in it, discard them, get you some new steel. And it's expensive. You could. I guess you could flip the steel around, Jim's saying, but it's just, man, I had a guy, he didn't know the difference. And it's really a factor of velocity. What you're talking about is the velocity of that Valkyrie. High velocity will go through the steel. He shot through one of our plates with a 257 Weatherby, and it never slowed down. So that's why we talk about their distance. And if you're shooting a high velocity cartridge like a 300 Weatherby or a 257 Weatherby, something like that, 200 yards out there. And respect other people's property, respect other people's steel. Christopher, I'm sorry, I just had to jump in there because it was a teaching point I needed to jump in on. So, all right, go ahead, though, please.
No, it's a worthwhile thing to safety's important, right?
Exactly.
And then the last range report I had was one that you inspired me to, right? I'm a long haul trucker, so I don't get to shoot as often as I want. But every day I've got a large batch of time where I'm not doing anything. So I've been calling in to my congressmen and my senators on a regular basis. And
it's not a whole lot, but it's what I can do, and I've got the free time to do it, so I might as well.
How is that going? Do you are they starting to kind of know who you are?
Well, I'm starting to find out who some of their interns are at their office. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting to know some of them. And my wife's getting a little bit annoyed because every time I call in, I get a mailer back that says, "Thank you for calling in about these issues."
Yes, you do.
And she's like,
and that's okay.
"Stop getting us all this spam."
Well, and when you call in, you can now start asking, who's the legislative aide that handles firearms issues? That's the real key. Is it who is the legislative aide? That's the term you want. Who handles gun issues, and they will either get you to the right person or get you a voicemail. Because talking to the interns becomes somewhat, after you've done it a couple times, you're kind of wasting your time. So now what you want is the legislative aide, because there's one person in each office is the gun person, and that's who you want to be talking to.
All right, I'll have to start asking for them when I call in. Is it a different one for each senator and congressman, or do they tend to group up by state?
No, no. It's a different person in each office. So you'll be talking to somebody in that particular office who is their gun person. And that's who you really want to be. Anytime you can talk to a legislative aide, you are miles ahead of talking to somebody else, because that's who actually has the ear of that member of Congress.
Well, I'll have to do that. So thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you for what you're doing. A big old attaboy for you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let's get Craig in here on line 1 out of Sacramento. I think we've got time. Craig, go for it.
Hi. You're a long-time listener, and I love your show. I'm asked about 4 months ago you had a guest on that had information on a book or a website about how to counter anti-gun people, such as concealed weapons, help reduce crime in cities and things like that. Or like a friend of mine was saying, AR-15 was a totally military gun and to kill people, and the 223 is designed to tumble.
I know what that website was you're asking about. It's gunfacts.info. It's gunfacts.info. It's not .com. Everybody wants to go .com. It's not. It's gunfacts.info. And Guy Smith puts that together. He has great information, and he puts together these pictographs, if you will, or infographics. And it's easy to understand, and you can pick them up, you can share them with people. So it's like I'm having a kind of a back and forth with this woman on Twitter, which is why you want to follow me on Twitter, by the way. You'd be a part of this thing. I am at Gun Talk on Twitter. And she's giving me the whole standard deal of, well, America has more guns used in murders than any other country in the world. Going, that's not true. It's not even close to being true. We fall somewhere in the middle of all the countries. And then what they do is they say, well, we're talking about the industrialized countries. I'll say, so you're going to cherry pick the countries out of Europe who have different laws, different demographics. But if you want to say, where do we Americans fall within the world? We are not the highest in murders, and we are, in most cases, the highest in terms of gun ownership. So we have more guns and less crime than people in a whole lot of countries out there. That's the kind of stuff you'll get at gunfacts.info. When you get over there, if you would, help Guy out a little bit. Make a little donation, $5, $10, whatever you can throw in the kitty there. This stuff takes time. Time is money. And a lot of these folks are doing it. It's a passion. But at the same time, they have expenses as well. So if you could throw $5 or $10 into the kitty as you go by, not a bad thing. It's that old deal of what we value, we show people with our time and our money. If we don't put any time or any money into it, what we're saying is it is of no value to us. 866-TALK-GUN. Hey, now it's time for you to call us to be, you can get on the show real quickly, or you could be part of the after show, that crazy deal that we do after this thing is over. It's not broadcast on the stations, but you can pick it up wherever you get podcast. Also, of course, on your Gun Dealio smartphone app. I know. It's not available on Google Play. That's okay. It's still available for your Android phone. Just go to gundealio.com and you can download it directly from there. Okay. You save tons of money, by the way. Oh, I mentioned going over to Johnny Dury. Yes. In a week or so, when they're ready, we'll be sending out information about some of the guns that will be sold there. These are some of Gritz's guns. My dad, Gritz Gresham, famous gun writer. Some of them are very select, literally one of a kind. We're also going to be doing an auction on a one-of-a-kind gun that collectors may be very interested in as a way to raise money for the Second Amendment Foundation, doing some stuff there. It was hard for me, frankly, to let go of some of those guns. And that's okay, because I console myself with letting go of some of those cool guns by understanding that I'm going to go buy other cool guns. I have my eye on a .45 revolver that we're going to do. Still looking for that .45 Colt lever action. I'm going to find a nice one. Doesn't have to be fancy, but just haven't found the right one yet. I'll be doing that. So we have some ideas out there. I would say this, as we're heading toward Christmas, maybe a gift for yourself is the gift of purpose in your life. Now, people say, I know I've got purpose in my life. Okay, cool. But maybe there's something else that can help. Just throwing out an idea here. That purpose in this case would be helping the Second Amendment, showing up, going places. If you haven't been following it, please make it a point every day to go online and find out what's going on with the Virginia Second Amendment sanctuary movement. It is breathtaking what's going on over there. 2,000, 3,000 people showing up at these meetings, county meetings. No one's ever seen anything like this before. There's a movement out there. And we have to have this movement or we are going to be run over, because the Bloomberg billions can run over us. But they can't do it if we show up. We can't outspend them, but we can basically just be there. And when politicians are faced with that, they start backing up. And in Virginia, the politicians are already backing up. Where they were calling for confiscation of guns, now they're saying, well, tell you what, it's time out. Here's what we'll do. If you guys will back off, we'll take the confiscation thing off the table, and we'll just ban the future sale of guns, all these guns that we don't like. And the people in Virginia are going, no, you're not going to buy us off to a quid pro quo deal. You're not going to buy us off where we get to keep our guns, but we sell out our children and our grandchildren. We're not going to do that. So April 20th, by the way, if you're in Virginia, they're having their lobby day, a gun day up at the legislature. By the way, no open carry of long guns there. Please be at least somewhat cognizant of how that looks. This is not a case of what's right. It's a case of how we win. You don't win by frightening people or allowing the media to portray us as nutcases. If you can't get on board with that, then don't show up. Okay, I'm just telling you, it's not a case of what's right or what's wrong. It's a case of what wins. And right now, what we need is to win. So my thought for you is maybe your Christmas present to yourself, to your family, to your children, to your grandchildren is to get involved. Make that commitment. And you know what? You will find yourself in the middle of some of the finest people you've ever been around. It will be fun. You'll have a new group of friends. You'll have a reason to go out and do things. It's just a complete change, and you're going to be part of a huge movement. 2020 is the year of the big gunfight, getting Trump reelected and winning all these battles. Hey, if you want to be part of the after show, call me right now, 866-TALK-GUN. In the meantime, Merry Christmas, everyone.